Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining my YouTube channel. If it's your first time with me, I hope that by the end you'll have taken something from this and that will lead you to giving it a thumbs up. If you hit the subscribe button, it's free, and all it means is that you'll be notified the next time I go live. So here we go. I'd like to talk to you about Facebook. It was introduced to us in 1994. And it wiped out Friends Reunited. I don't know if you remember that, but that was the first place that we more or less connected to our old school pals. Facebook comes along, and that allowed us not to just connect with people, but to see them, see what they were doing, see the family photos. Nowadays, we can even see what people are having for breakfast every day. No judgment. If that's you, that's absolutely fine. You do you. But joking aside, it was a miracle, and everybody wanted to be your friend. In my 30s, I lived abroad for 6 years, and Facebook kept me connected to my family and friends. It was amazing. It just made me feel closer. I just literally didn't feel like I was so far away anymore. And when I moved back to England, it worked the other way. I kept in touch with all my friends over there, all the friends that I'd made in the 6 years. And in 2014, my friends came over to my wedding. And on, excuse me, New Year's Eve 2024, some friends came over and they spent New Year's Eve with me, which was amazing. It filled me with so much joy. Just to have them there for one night was incredible. And without Facebook, would those friendships and relationships have been kept alive? I'm really not sure on that one. Anyhow, we're in 2024. Facebook has changed quite a lot. There's a lot of network marketing, direct selling is bigger than ever. There's lots and lots of adverts. Network marketing, by the way, if you're not quite sure what that is, it's basically people setting up their stalls on Facebook. They're talking to you, they're showing you what they sell, and they're allowing you to sit on your sofa and shop without leaving the house. For some of you, that's absolutely fantastic, and it may be necessary. But for some of us, how much has that become a normality? That is the scary part for me, how normal it has become. And we see shops closing down, we see cafes closing down, and especially in the area I live, I'm in Whitby, and we have got this amazing community centre that is open for everyone, and it's barely open because people don't go out. People tend to stay in, especially since COVID. It's really difficult, I think, for a lot of people to leave their homes, whether that's anxiety or whether they've just got used to staying indoors and prefer to. Maybe they feel safer, who knows? But I don't know. I sometimes think that Amazon social selling has made us possibly become a little more lazy and a little less likely to leave the house. Another way in which Facebook has changed are adverts. There are so many of them now. And if I was to talk to you about double glazing, somehow my news feed would suddenly be full of adverts about double glazing. I just know it actually by saying that after this, my Facebook will be filled with adverts about double glazing. And I don't need any, but hey ho. So say one comes up on your news feed, what will you do? You might have a look, you'll probably scroll by, we all do it, but before you know it, an hour's gone by, maybe 2 hours, and eventually you'll put your phone down and you'll do something else, and then before you know it, it's in your hand and you're scrolling again. If you were to look back at the end of your day, how much time have you actually spent on Facebook? my answer to that question would be a hell of a lot. So my story may be a little different. I began network marketing with the Body Shop at Home in 2018. I made up a Facebook group, and on joining the Body Shop at Home, I was a little lost at the time, although I didn't quite realize it back then. But it became a home to me. It was a huge extended family, and this family congratulated me, they encouraged me, they introduced me to self-care, they made me feel good about myself, they brought out my confidence, and for all of that, I am truly, truly grateful, because it helped shape me into the person I am today, and it gave me lifelong friendships. What it also gave me was an even bigger addiction to Facebook. When I woke up in the morning, I would reach for my phone, I'd look for messages, for orders, for notifications, and over the years that built up to a point where I could be getting 100 pings on my phone a day. Not all in one go, but that's what I was dealing with at one point. It was continuous. Now, from a positive point of view, that was great, because it meant that I was getting orders from people, and literally every order I got for the Body Shop, I was doing a little happy dance. It was a little buzz, and it was a little, yay, I've done it. And it made me feel good about myself. It did that for us all. And then somehow, I don't know, whatever it was I was posting or talking about, but it led me to having a network of over 3,000 followers on my profile. So I must have been doing something right, obviously. Business with Body Shop at Home, I was enjoying it. I was so in love with it. I was passionate about it. It had its ups and downs, and it was a roller coaster, a bit like life. And then there were times when it became so stressful that I would burn out. I'd feel totally depleted and just forced to walk away for the sake of my mental health. But I missed it. And all the time that phone was still in my hand, just aimlessly scrolling away, regardless of what I was doing, where I was, or who I was with. One day in January 2024, everything fell apart. And that's just what it felt like at the time. The Body Shop at Home was suddenly no more. The plug was pulled, and myself and thousands of others were told that on February the 23rd, it would all come to an end. And it was almost like a death. All those relationships built, everything we had learned, all the knowledge we had picked up, and all of a sudden our huge team, our collective, it was disbanded. And we cried, all of us cried. We were shocked, we were in complete disbelief. People lost businesses worth millions of pounds that had huge teams, so they were losing big, big incomes, and it was devastating. I can't speak for anybody, but for me, 2 weeks later, my devastation led me to deactivate Facebook. I just couldn't bear to look. There had been 70,000 of us in the business at one point, and I was constantly seeing on my news feed and posting myself about the sheer sadness or how amazing it had been, and it was just overwhelming. And then I was seeing posts about great leaders in the business going forward with new companies and starting all over again. And I fully understood this, because their income was gone. And unless they carried on with network marketing, their lifestyles were going to have to change dramatically. Everybody did what they had to do. But for me, I just knew I had to switch off. I didn't know where my head was. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know which way to turn. I was lost. I felt completely lost. So I deactivated my Facebook and I started reading again. I haven't read a book properly and fully in about 3 years. I watched a film with my husband for the first time in probably about 2 years. I started to cook more and enjoy cooking, because before, cooking and meal times had just fitted in around work. And everything revolved around me and work. I didn't go to bed until the early hours of the morning. I just simply had no work-life balance. I did maybe for a short time, but it never lasted. And that was partly because I just loved what I was doing. It gave me so much joy. But yes, 2 weeks ago, deactivating my Facebook and all the groups I was in, it just felt right for me. And I also felt like it signaled the end. And I suddenly realized how much time I had mostly wasted. Don't get me wrong, I don't mean the personal connections, because they will always be more than precious to me. That was the best part of it. I met amazing people. I made great friends. And yes, that will always be very, very precious to me. But I felt that I needed to reevaluate my life and to practice gratitude for everything that I have. I knew that something had to change. I've always believed that everything happens for a reason, that as one door closes, another door opens, and all those kind of quotes began to make sense to me. And I started to think about how much I used to love reading and cooking and walking and being social. And then how much I used to love looking after my home. This home of mine, of ours, that my husband provides. He provides for everything that's in it. He provides for everything we do and everywhere we go. And although I love him and appreciate him and tell him that often, the one thing I don't give him is my time. I was always saying, yeah, I'll be down in a minute. Yeah, I'll do that in a minute. And throwing something together for our evening meal. There was no love and care and attention put into it because I wanted to get back to work. And that struck me really hard. But it's not just about that, it's the mobile phone. Are you a person that watches TV with your phone in your hand? Maybe you just pick it up in the ad breaks. Do you watch the program you've chosen while you're looking at your phone? Or do you give it your full attention? Do you watch and listen? Or are you half present on both? Do you even realize you do that? We seem to have integrated our phones and Facebook or other social media channels into our lives, and we live around them. We're connected to everything and everyone at all times. We go out and meet friends and we socialize and we take out our phones, but we just check. When was the last time you intentionally did something and left your phone behind? I can't remember. When did you last go somewhere and take a picture and say, I'm just going to put this on Facebook? Who are you actually sharing it with? Do you stop to think that, or do you just share because it's become a habit? It's what we do. When I went out a few days ago for coffee and cake, hubby took me out because it was when I deactivated my phone and I wasn't feeling great. And he knew that, so he took me out and we ordered the coffee and I ordered the cake. And we sat down at the table, and while we waited for it to come, I went into my handbag and I got my phone out. And I thought to myself, what am I doing? And I got my phone out to take a photograph of the piece of cake so that I could put it on Facebook and say to people, oh, look at this cake. Who would have cared? Why did I feel the need to do that? Which I didn't, by the way. I put my phone back in my bag and I left it there. And I enjoyed my coffee. I enjoyed my cake. I enjoyed talking to my husband. It just seems to have become our new normal. And I will say that it is always our personal choice to post whatever we want on our feed. But I started to think, is it necessary? Wouldn't we be better spending time in ourselves? Asking ourselves what makes us happy? What brings us joy? What areas of our lives do we wish we were better at? What makes us angry or upset? Do we know why we maybe lose our temper so quickly? Do we know why we talk down to ourselves? Do we know why we try to please other people before we please ourselves? Or maybe why do we stay in relationships that are perhaps toxic? We could spend a lifetime asking ourselves about us, about who we are, who we want to be, and if we can become kinder, better, more educated, or just find more joy in our lives. If you were put in the position of knowing your time on earth was coming to a close, would you look back on it and see your time well spent? I'm suggesting to you, with the greatest respect and from a place of love and kindness, to just ask yourself, are you spending your time wisely? Thanks for listening. I do hope you've taken something from this. If you have, don't forget the thumbs up. And if you'd like to listen to me again on it could be a completely different subject, who knows? A little bit of everything. That's what I've called the channel. So please come back, say hi, leave a comment, and go off and enjoy yourself. Lots of love.